Honestly, if my work did not require for me to be on social media, I wouldn't be on social media. Hello and welcome to the Punch Pod. My name is Panchsheel and this is a podcast where I talk about creativity, art, and everything in between. Today, we are talking about social media, big tech, and the effects it has on a creator. How do I feel about social media? Honestly, it's a bit of a double edged sword. On the one hand, you have so many people who are expressing their creativity, they're sharing cute moments from their lives, they're learning new things, they're building businesses and helping each other grow. Whereas on the other hand, you have mass propaganda, communal hatred, people hating themselves because they don't look or talk a certain way. There's anxiety, there's depression, and so much more.
The problem is that the worst of human nature exists in all of us.
Okay.
But the best in human nature also exists in all of us. I mean, you've got the Janjaweed and child soldiers in certain places, and you've
Mhm.
also got these peaceful tribes that have lived in harmony with nature for thousands of years, in whatever way. But when social media, every day, when you look at it, it points $1 trillion of compute power at finding the next fault line in society. So when you open up the feed and it says, okay, what am I going to show you? And it has to rank it by what's going to get the most attention. And the way it does that is it takes the $1 trillion market cap of those companies, supercomputer, calculates, okay, what would most likely get you, not just to look at it or click or share, but to comment on it. Facebook recently in these revelations,
Right.
it found that they were sorting for what they call meaningful social interactions,
Uh-huh.
which basically meant the largest argumentative comment threads. So when you have an AI pointed at finding the next fault line in society,
Right.
like perfectly with hyper micro-targeted personalized precision, like the thing that'll make you hate your fellow countrymen and women,
Mhm.
and then you run society through that for 10 years, it's no surprise that whether it's vaccines or masks or anything, that we would be this divided. And the key is that the more it polarizes citizens, the more it forces politicians to actually cater to a more extreme base that never resolves. We don't ever get synthesis,
Mhm.
which means democracy, that's like you just throw a wrench into the gears of
You're right.
democracy.
Right.
And when people don't see that the system is working, they veer towards authoritarians or demagogues because the democracy is not working.
That was Tristan Harris, who is a technology ethicist. And basically, what he's saying is that there's over $1 trillion machinery at play to make sure that you spend a lot of your time on these social media apps. And how do they do that? They show you more and more of what you like, they create echo chambers that feed into your own biases, and this entire process is inherently undemocratic. Let me tell you about Frances Hagen. Frances worked at Facebook and she came out with a lot of information about how Facebook knew that it was destabilizing governments, deepening communal divides, and really affecting the mental health of children and teens. When Facebook was to choose between the safety of its users and its own profit, time and time again, Facebook chose profits over safety. Now, of course, Frances Hagen doesn't work with Facebook anymore because she leaked super confidential documents. But if you're interested, please have a look at some of her interviews about this. Then again, ask yourself this: why? Why did Facebook, despite knowing that people may develop lifelong complexes or in some cases even die, why did they not do anything? That's because at the end of the day, Facebook is a for profit company and it only and only cares about money. It has literally zero incentive to be better or at least have a little bit of morality. Both Francis Hagen and Tristan Harris advocate for more regulation of these platforms. They don't think that big tech is inherently bad. It just needs to be more democratic and to not be run by a megalomaniac. Now, let's talk about the attention economy.
I argued that social media tools are designed to be addictive. The actual desired use case of these tools is that you fragment your attention as much as possible throughout your waking hours. That's how these tools are designed to use. Well, we have a growing amount of research which tells us that if you spend large portions of your day in a state of fragmented attention, so large portions of your day where you're constantly breaking up your attention, take a quick glance, do a just check, let me just quickly look at Instagram, that this can permanently reduce your capacity for concentration. In other words, you could permanently reduce your capacity to do exactly the type of deep effort that we're finding to be more and more necessary in an increasingly competitive economy. So social media use is not harmless. It can actually have a significant negative impact on your ability to thrive in the economy. I am especially worried about this when we look at the younger generation coming up, which is the most saturated in this technology. If you lose your ability to sustain concentration, you're going to become less and less relevant to this economy.
That was a snippet from Cal Newport's TEDx talk where he's urging people to quit social media. I really like what he said about fragmented attention. For example, just while writing this paragraph, I checked my social media, Twitter, Instagram, like 4 or 5 times for no particular reason. It has become a very bad habit, one that I really, really want to get rid of. Now, of course, this entire shortening of attention spans and reduced concentration time is very real. But how is it affecting people? On my Instagram, I'd asked a few questions, and these are the responses that I got. When asked, do you like social media? Most said that they like it, whereas a very, very small minority said that it is the worst. And I agree with the minority on this one. When asked, if given the chance, would you like to delete yourself from all of social media? Half the people said yes, and the other half said no. Honestly, I was very surprised that so many people wanted to get off social media. Anyway, and when people were asked why you use social media, out of the 27 responses that I got, 15 said that they use social media purely and purely out of habit. I also asked how social media makes you feel, and this is what people had to say. It depends on what the feed looks like. Currently, it's all war related, so it's not a good thing. It makes me feel like I am a dot in the universe and there is so much happening around me that sometimes it makes me want to do more, work more, and sometimes it makes me feel useless. It makes me feel good because I'm adapting to the new world order, and I am sad also because it's addictive and I know that it's addictive. Sometimes it's good because of cat and dog videos, but I'm annoyed by openly bigoted posts from politically motivated fucks. That is an annoyance that I share with you. Someone said, it feels like I'm caught up on all things I'm interested in because I've made my feed so by design. I find inspiration, novel things, and people, but also get anxious about how I'm just viewing and not doing. Anxious, burdened, and exhausted is how social media makes me feel. Coming back to me, I have a bit of a love hate relationship with social media. I'm thankful because it has got me so many cool opportunities and I've met so many amazing people I would not have otherwise. But I also don't like how it's led all of us to commodify our lives in order to please the algorithm gods. If you know me in real life, you know how much of an introvert I am. I despise being perceived, if that makes sense. But in order to have a voice on the internet, you have to be seen to be remembered, and you have to have recall value and think of yourself as a brand and not a person. That is my main issue, actually. For creators, social media makes you feel like a commodity. It makes you feel like a product. You can't take breaks because people will forget you. You have to engage on the apps or the algorithm won't push you as much. You have to lie and hype up your numbers when there may be no truth to that at all. And basically, you have to fake it till you make it. I am not a very big fan of this, but then again, that is the nature of the game.
The ideal job allegedly lies in the intersection of opportunity, talent, and passion, or whatever the faux motivational capitalist aphorisms are these days. If you enjoy something creative, the usual leap in logic is, oh, I should figure out how to make money from this. It's a bit upsetting sometimes to think about the monetization of something that was once rooted in the innocent pursuit of expression. It's upsetting to have to create constraints on what you do in the interest of marketability or commercial appeal or satisfying trends. It's upsetting to be interested in so many variations of that expression, but for it to be unwise likely to seek them all out, firstly because you just don't have enough time, but secondly to create consistency within your body of work, which again has to do with saleability, maybe limiting yourself to one genre, for example. And apart from that, being creative is hard. Creativity on demand is even harder. There's pressure to meet deadlines and to have an endless stream of good ideas with no downtime. Also, social media, eh? Not even mentioning the face fetishist that is the algorithm and people's interest, aka you haven't posted a selfie? Sorry, try again, buddy. What? You're out like living your life or working on something that'll take years to finish? Oh, well, fuck you anyway. And given all of that, of course there are outliers, but for the vast majority, there's not even that much money in it. And it's obscene, the amount of people doing exactly what you do, and they might be doing it better.
I really wanted to end this on a positive note, but that's just not how I feel right now. As always, links to everything I mentioned are in the show notes, and thank you so much for listening. I will see you in the next one.